All right, so let's take a look to see what's happening in the markets today. And today is Wednesday, June 16th, and we're doing it so that you know what's going on. And with me in the studio, as always, is my head coach, Markus. Good
Hey, good morning.
morning.
Hey, good morning, Marcus.
Uh, Markets are still waiting. I mean, yesterday, all major indices were slightly down. I believe it was just some profit taking ahead of today's Fed meeting because today is the big day and everybody is waiting for this, it seems. So, looks like some people want to be in cash or realizing some profits after making new all-time highs on Monday. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think today's the day. I mean, to me, it's no real surprise that there's a little pullback. I mean, even yesterday, it was a down day, but it wasn't anything substantial. So,
No.
futures this morning are mixed, really quiet heading into the open. I think the Nasdaq is slightly positive, and the S&P is just flat.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's talk about it today. Let's switch over to the economic calendar. So, busy day. First of all, this morning we already had the building permits and housing starts, and they came in a little bit lower than expected. And then we have the Fed meeting today. But do you think that the Fed will consider the building permits and the housing starts that came in lower than expected into their decisions?
No, I don't think that that's a significant report for them. Yeah, the Fed really has two goals, and that's to make policy that will keep prices stable and maximize sustainable employment. Right,
Yeah.
so they're looking at employment numbers, and they're focused on price stability, which uh, you know ties into inflation. And I don't think that the housing starts are a big deal.
Yeah. So today, these times are all in Eastern time. So at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we have the FOMC statement, and then at 2:30, we have the press conference. And I think all eyes will be on the press conference because there's really no policy changes are expected. But investors want to know whether the Fed thinks that rising inflation is transitory or not, and whether they will taper with their massive bond buying program because they have been buying $120 billion every month. So this is a lot, and the question is right now, okay, will they start tapering? And I don't know, will they maybe raise interest rates sooner than expected? So that's on dock for today.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I mean, people don't expect the Fed to make any major policy decisions. I mean, the interest rates are not going anywhere. It's just a matter of the wording, and really, if they're hinting at tapering, right? I don't think the Fed's going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, this is what we're doing," and it's going to be planned
Yeah.
out, and by the end of the year, this is what's going to happen. It really, traders and investors, they're going to look for wording that might hint to the idea that they are considering it later this year. And this is it's a rocky slope for the Fed. And like you said yesterday, there's no, damned if they do, damned if they don't, right? Because the time is ripe for tapering, right? Because markets are at records again. Unemployment is coming down, but now we actually have businesses looking for employees. They're actively looking for employees, even though the unemployment is still relatively high, but it's on its way down. And some could say that that's due to government policies and the incentive to collect unemployment.
Yeah.
That could have an impact, but also people just a bit fearful heading back into the market with coronavirus.
Right. And I mean, we have to look at the bigger picture. So before we had the pandemic drop, the S&P 500 was at 3,400, right? So
Yep.
right now we are at 4,200. I mean, right now we are 25% higher than we were before the pandemic happened. And are we really doing that much better? I mean, at this point, wouldn't it be okay if we had a 10 or even 20% drop? If we get a 20% drop, this would mean that we are going back to 3,600, which is still higher than we were
Exactly.
before the pandemic. So I think it wouldn't be a bad decision to right now start tapering with it and maybe send some shockwaves into the market, because we're doing good. I mean, the market, I think this has been recovering a little bit too much. So it's time to pull it back a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, a tricky one for the Fed. We'll see. We'll see if it's a whole but a lot of nothing, or if they start talking about tapering.
It is a big day because everybody has been waiting for it. So let's just see what is happening. Okay, let's talk about some individual stocks that are coming up. Let me just see. I messed around with my charts here, so while I'm doing this. Okay, what do we have?
I saw Oracle reported earnings, ticker ORCL.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at this. ORCL. Here we go. Yeah. So what happened there? I mean, they're pretty much down pre-market. They're down almost 5%.
Yeah, it's interesting because they actually reported better than expected earnings. They reported $1.54 per share versus a $1.31 estimate. They also reported better revenue, but they said that profits this quarter will be lower than expected because of their cloud computing investment. So,
All right. Well, what does he? I also saw that Roblox,
yeah.
RBLX. I mean, this is a company that went public. When was it? Earlier this year. So this was around mid-March. The gaming company here. So they are actually tumbling right now pre-market. They are down what, almost 10%, because they reported 43 million active users in May. This is down from 43.3 million in April. So I mean, it's still higher than the previous year, but nobody wants to see a slowdown. And this is why this morning is like, ugh. And they're pretty much the new kid on the block here. Just what is it, 3 months old?
And maybe it's a sign of things to come. Because I mean, to me, a 300,000 drop in a month from 43 million doesn't seem like a whole lot. Like I'm not familiar with their business model, and I'm just taking it at face value. But if people are going back into employment, are they going to have time for playing video games? So
Well,
maybe there's some bigger picture things going on.
not only employment, but also going back into the office. I mean, this
Well,
morning,
yeah,
I think Goldman, an executive from Goldman Sachs said, hey, if you can go to a restaurant, you can come to an office. I mean, these were his words. And this is where, yes, maybe this is affecting it here right now. Who knows?
yeah.
Okay. All right. What else?
I saw
Southwest
Lazy
Airlines. Did
Boy.
you hear about that? Let's just bring this up.
Yeah, Lazy Boy, they reported earnings of 87 cents per share versus 74-cent estimate, so better than expected. Also better revenue than expected, but they said that they have been impacted by supply chain issues, and they also saw a significant increase in raw material costs.
What's oh, there it is, LZB.
LVB, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so they're down 3% pre-market. Okay.
Yep, so rising prices.
Rising prices, supply chain issues. Okay, Southwest Airlines. I am a little bit surprised. They're hanging in there. Let me just delete this because they had two outages in the last 24 hours in their computer system, and the system outage cost not cost cost the cancellation of around 500 flights. And but hey, nobody seems to care. 500 flights delayed or canceled. I mean, what the heck? Still up here pre-market, 0.5%, pretty much unchanged. A little bit surprised here.
Yeah, down 0.3% yesterday, not a real big move. And like you said, up a little bit pre-market. It could be that people are accepting that there could be some difficulties as, travel is, increasing significantly. And who knows, maybe they feel that the outage has been resolved.
Let's talk about DraftKings. Hindenburg strikes
Oh, our
again.
friends.
Huh? Oh my gosh. Our
our
friends at
Hindenburg
Hindenburg
friends.
Research. famous short selling company. So they published a report yesterday. And do you know what the report said? But they were basically very, very bearish on DraftKings.
Yeah, I didn't read into the details of it, but it said that what was it? A significant amount of their profits is due to, you don't know.
No, I really don't know. I haven't read the report. I just
I
saw it
think it was
yesterday, and
like,
it seems that this time, I mean, usually when Hindenburg Research publishes a report, we see a company tanking. I mean, just think about Nikola, think about right? And here yesterday, yes, we opened much, much, much lower, but then bounced back. I mean, there was a 10% drop pre-market, ending up just down 4.4%, and this morning in pre-market up 0.8%. And I mean, Hindenburg Research said we have a significant short position here. So this does not seem to work out for them just yet.
yeah, and the word I was looking for, or the phrase I was looking for, black market gambling. They are claiming that black market gambling is contributing to a large part of the company's revenues. So that at first, yesterday, DraftKings was down almost 11% or more than 11%,
Yeah,
but really kind of resilient, shook off the news, and now up pre-market.
there we go. Okay. Do you see anything else moving?
Um, H&R Block was moving a little bit. HRB, the ticker,
Yeah.
they reported better profit and revenue. They also raised their dividend by 4%, so their dividend's at 27 cents now.
Well, but they're dropping. I mean, yesterday they were down 1%. This morning they're down 5.5% pre-market.
That is interesting.
Okay.
That is interesting.
So trade what you see, not what you think, right?
Yeah, H&R Block might be a little seasonal too. People buying it on the run up and then selling it after tax season.
It could be. It could be. All right. Hey, some other news that I saw is from Levi's, the jeans manufacturer. So the CEO actually said that more than 25% of shoppers have a different size today than before the pandemic. And so he actually said the number of people with new sizes are pretty staggering. So that's what just interesting. I just
I can
saw that.
relate. I can relate.
All right, let's talk about Amazon for a moment because Amazon. So there's two headlines. I mean, first of all, Scott McKenzie, the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, who has a 4% stake in Amazon. I mean, when she got it, when they left, it was worth $20 billion. But now, since Amazon prices are just keeping higher, it's worth $60 billion. And she donated over the past few weeks another $2.6 billion to different charities. Now, the interesting thing is she distributed it over, I believe it was 286 different charities. And that's different than Jeff Bezos, who has this one huge big fund. And this is what we see often with Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, that they have one fund to focus on. But she says, you know what, there's so many charities that are being overlooked by the big donors. And she said, you know what, let's just distribute it. I don't know if she did it evenly, but she distributed over a lot of charities here. So anyhow, thought this was interesting.
Nice.
And then also, last but not least, Jeff Bezos, he's launching himself into space. You have heard about this? So he said that he and his brother would be on board the Blue Origin, which is the first passenger-carrying mission, which is set to lift off on July 20th, a month from now. And there was still one seat open, and somebody bought the seat to be sandwiched right between the Bezos brothers for an 11-minute space flight, and he bought it for $2.8 million. Okay, we gotta hop over into our Zoom room to trade with our mastermind members, trade the open, see what is happening, and today will be a super interesting day. Hey, if you enjoyed it, give us a like on your way out, and leave a comment if there's anything that you want us to cover in these morning updates, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care, everybody.
Happy trading, everybody.